The use of concentration camps during World War II caused the lives of millions to be lost. A concentration camp was a camp where people were usually detained under harsh conditions with disregard to the norms of arrest. The camp consisted of arrested prisoners, usually Jews, and they were forced to work under hard conditions and were given little to no food. The SA, the SS, the police, and other local organizations worked together to form detention camps to hold those who were against the Nazi Party. Hitler authorized SS chief leader Heinrich Himmler to centralize administration and to formalize concentration camps into a system. The Nazis set up camps all over Europe. When the Germans invaded Poland in 1939, there were 6 concentration camps in the Greater German Reich. They were Dachau, Sachsenhausen, Buchenwald, Flossenburg, Mauthausen, and Ravensbrück. Dachau's system in 1934 became the foundation for all preceding camps instituted by the Germans. In Dachau's first year, 4,800 prisoners were held there. German communists, social democrats, and other opponents to the Nazi government were admitted into the camp. Other groups were also admitted, such as Jehovah's Witnesses, gypsies, homosexuals, and criminal offenders. The Allies of World War II, which included the US, USSR, Great Britain, and France, were opposed to the German Axis powers. Their offensives against Nazi Germany showed them thousands of prisoners who had suffered of disease and starvation. The Soviets were the first to approach the major camp, Majdanek, located in Poland. They were also able to liberate Auschwitz, the largest killing center. U.S. forces made their way to liberating Buchenwald on April 11, 1945, only days after the Nazis decided to flee the camp. Dachau was divided into the camp area and the crematoria area. A barbed wire fence, a ditch, and a high wall surrounded the camp to make sure no prisoners were able to escape. There was a certain building used for medical experiments, and the prisoners were forced to test out new medication and were forced to be in experiments that tested in hypothermia, high altitude, and tuberculosis. Many of the prisoners died or were disabled because of this. The forced labor, like most other camps starting out, was the construction of the camp itself. They were forced to dig their own graves and build the very walls of the death trap they called home. The prisoners very quickly became a vital part of the Nazi force. The horrors of the camps that the men experienced made them break down. They could feel everything that the prisoners felt. Henry Desjardins, an American liberator of Dachau, said this: "Well, after seeing the train and then standing out there looking at the fences at these people, you couldn't believe what you saw. It gave you a lost, sick feeling. Well, it's haunted me, as I say, for 36 years. I mean, who are they? What's their name? What nationality are they? What's their religious faith? Why were they there? You just can't comprehend it." Dachau was liberated by U.S. forces on April 29, 1945, by the 45th Infantry after a small battle with guards that remained at the camp. As the Americans neared Dachau, they came across 30 railroad cars with rotting dead bodies inside. Once they got to the camp, they found more than 30,000 prisoners, starved and deathly ill. The Americans were so outraged with how the guards treated the prisoners that they lined them up and opened fire. It's reported that 30 SS guards were killed, although there has been speculation that there were more. The Americans also forced the citizens of neighboring towns to bury the dead bodies of the prisoners. In the history of Dachau, around 250,000 prisoners passed through its camps and subcamps. There were an alleged 32,000 deaths of inmates at the camp, though that number does not include those who were sent to the other extermination camps. Another camp liberated by the 6th Armored Division and part of the 6th Army on April 11, 1945, was Buchenwald. Similar to Dachau, the soldiers recalled the piles of bodies that grew overwhelmingly high. The soldiers recalled the stench of the camp and the gray-green color of the corpses. They say that movies made in black and white could never capture the pure essence of walking through that camp on Liberation Day. Leon Ball of the 183rd Division commented that, "When we were walking through those gates, I saw in front of me the walking dead. There they stood. They were skin and bone. They had skeletal faces with deep-set eyes. Their heads had been clean-shaven. They were holding each other for stability. I couldn't understand this. I just couldn't. So I walked around the camp. I wanted to understand more. I went to a building where they stored body parts from medical experiments in jars of formaldehyde. I saw fingers and eyes and hearts and genitals. I saw mounds of little children's clothing, little children who didn't survive. I saw all of those things that belong to little children, but I never saw a child. If this could happen here, it could happen anywhere. It could happen to me." The horrors seen at Dachau and other concentration camps were nothing like the American soldiers had ever experienced before. Nazi Germany and the Holocaust was the reason for over 11 million deaths in Europe, and this time is still remembered as one of the world's greatest tragedies.